Everyone from me, Brent Graham, and welcome to this Stage 11 preview of the Tour de France. We'll also have a look back at what happened in Stage 10 and, of course, the latest betting markets as well. There's the profile for you. We'll be talking about it in a bit more detail later on in the show. No fewer than 2 crossings of the legendary Mont Ventoux. But let's first have a look at what happened in stage number 10. And Mark Cavendish, he got his 3 wins. And I'm not sure if any of you saw me on Twitter mention that at the start of the tour, I was lining up a massive bet, 3 to 10. I was going to add it to all my multiples. Cavendish not to win 3 stages. Well, it would have been gone very early in the tour. His quick step team, simply superb. They controlled things early on. As expected, the likes of Sonny Colbrelli and Matthews took some points from him at the first intermediate sprint. But after that, it was all about quick step. They set him up perfectly, and he delivered in absolutely confident style. And it really is looking like this green jersey now is going to be Cavendish's to lose. But we'll have a look at that betting in just a minute. Wout van Aert, he pressed him all the way. He was in second, showing just what a good man he is when it comes to positioning as well. And Jasper Philipsen, also a good race there. It gives him hope, certainly, of winning a stage later in the tour. Nasser Bahani, Michael Matthews picking up some points. I guess 5th is about as good as he's going to get on these sort of stages. And big disappointment there was Sonny Colbrelli, although I will say that Colbrelli had a tough one because he had to get back in with probably the hardest time of the stage when the crosswinds were blowing and he had a problem and had to get back on. And he did work hard there, but I'm not sure that he would have done much more than a sort of a top 10 finish anyway. Let's have a quick look at the green jersey rankings. Where have I gone? I'm on points here. So let's have a look at the general ranking. I'm on the Tour de France site here. We've got Cavendish now has extended his lead. He's 218 points. Matthews, 159. Colbrelli, he certainly won't give up. He's on 136. And Philipsen, also 133. You'd have to say it's got to come from that 4. Obviously, Cavendish very much in the box seat. And let's have a look at the latest betting now. And we'll come back to the stage betting. General classification, of course, we've got very little change there. I can tell you that World Sports Betting have priced up. They're not priced up as I video this preview, but they have priced up on the without Pogacar market, which I think is a good move because let's face it, when you've got a 1 to 16 shot heading the market, there's not a lot of betting action in that particular market. The mountains classification, well, this is going to be huge tomorrow. We'll talk about that when we have a look at the profile. Nairo Quintana, he's currently in the polka dot jersey. He's 14 to 10 or 7 to 5. Pogacar, well, a lot will depend on tomorrow for him. He's 5 to 2. Wout Poels, 6 to 1. And Michael Woods, 7 to 1. And could even be anyone else who could come out of the pack tomorrow. Certainly go across Mont Ventoux twice in the lead, and suddenly you're going to be wearing a polka dot jersey or pretty close. Points classification, Cavendish has now shortened from even money into 11 to 20 as it becomes apparent that he has every chance of making it to Paris. Sonny Colbrelli, he's climbing like a demon, but unfortunately just not scoring enough points in the mass sprints. He's 11 to 2, Philipsen 6 to 1, and Matthews 15 to 2. I don't think you have to look beyond those 4. Quick look at the team classification where there has been a further shortening of Bahrain victorious from 8 to 10 to 13 to 20. And the Ineos Grenadiers still sitting there at 3 to 1. As I said in the last show, I might look at sneaking something on them. I guess there could be some big changes in this market after tomorrow's race. That's for sure. No point looking at the young jersey, and we'll just go back up to the stage betting. But before we do that, let's have a look at the stage profile. Well, we got a flat start here, 198 kilometers in total. And then we get to this Cat 4 climb out, 1.9 kilometers at 6%. To be interesting, I wouldn't expect the break to have gone by this point. I think the teams of Colbrelli and Matthews will keep things pretty tight. And certainly some of the climbers will fancy their chances perhaps going there. But I think it's more likely that they're going to try and put Cavendish under some sort of pressure so that they can sprint for the green jersey points. Just after the sprint, then we've got a 2.5 kilometer climb at 5.1%. And this is where we're going to see the break of the day launch more than likely. It is possible that it stays together longer than that, but I think we're going to get a fairly strong break go away here with a number of quality climbers. And of course, there's 3 men we can expect to see in the break, almost guaranteed tomorrow. Nairo Quintana, Michael Woods, and Wout Poels, the 3 guys who are vying for the King of the Mountains jersey. Of course, Tadej Pogacar and his UAE team will be content to let the break get away. But the big question is, as we look at this incredible stage, with the Cat 1, 9.3 kilometers at 6.7, the first climbing of Ventoux from a different side to the usual one we see, 22 kilometers at 5.1, and then, of course, the Beast, 15.7 kilometers at 8.8%. So from the 71K mark, there's really very little flat talk of about 12 kilometers here, but even that doesn't look terribly flat when I'm looking at it there on the profile. And we do have a descent finish, which can neutralize things a little bit, but personally, I do fancy that the break is going to anyway fight this one out. Who's going to chase the break? Well, really, the only team with any incentive might be UAE themselves if Pogacar wants to win the stage. And if he wants to win the stage, he certainly probably will win the stage, but he'll be expending a lot of energy. He'll be burning his team quite heavily as well, and I don't think he's going to do that. I think Pogacar's got a longer-term view. There's other stages to come which he can win. And I think the break is going to get away here. I can't see any of the other teams, Ineos, any of the other podium contender teams chasing the break, because at the end of the day, you're probably just setting it up for Pogacar. So I think they'll let UAE work hard. And I'm expecting the likes of Ineos to try and get riders into the break. We should see, I would say, a pretty big break go away. No one who's really threatening the yellow jersey, perhaps a couple of guys threatening the top 10. But yeah, I think a break will go away and stay away. And I'm expecting the likes of Woods, Quintana, and Vote Polls to have teammates in there as well. I guess Bahrain will also have one eye on the team comp. So we're going to go up Mont Ventoux for the first time. Then we come down, and it's on this final ramp up the Ventoux that is going to decide the stage. I'm expecting that we are going to get someone going over the top alone and soloing down to victory. But there is, I understand, quite a big headwind at the top, which does discourage attacking riding. So don't discount the fact that we could get a small group going over there together, which means in this very slight at the bottom, you've got a bit of a flat here to sort of end off. The guy with the best sprint will probably win then. So let's have a look at the betting. We should be in for an exciting stage. I'm going to be staying off social media and make sure I can watch this one as if I don't know the result. Let's go and have a look at the stage betting. And I tweeted a little bit earlier that I went onto one of my bookmakers accounts and found I had a 500 Rand free bet, and I put it on one rider to win the stage. We'll get to that rider now. He's actually a bit of a bigger price here at Sunbet. I took a smaller price, but hey, it was a free bet, so nothing to lose really there. It came from the Durban July. Right, we got Pogacar. He's the favorite at 15-4. Well, as I said, if he goes for it, he wins it. But once again, if I'm a bookmaker, I'm saying, guys, you can have 5-1, 6-1 Pogacar, because I do not believe that UAE are going to keep this break in check. I think the break is going to get well clear tomorrow. Simon Yates, he seems to be riding himself into some good form. He's at 12-1. Julian Alaphilippe, I don't think he's got the legs for this, but you never know. The stage is well suited to him. He can climb and he can certainly descend like a rocket. He's 14-1. Jan Izagirre, he'd probably prefer wet weather. It's going to be quite warm tomorrow. And there might be another reason why Pogacar decides to hold back a little bit tomorrow as well. Jakob Fuglsang, he hasn't really impressed me with his climbing legs to date, but certainly well capable of winning from the break. And Lopez, he seems to be down and out at the moment. I saw him getting dropped again today. I can't have him at 22-1. I understand why the bookies have put him there. I mean, if he rides to his ability, he's miles behind. He'll be allowed plenty of room in the break, and he's would then be the best climber in the break. But I just don't think he's got the legs, and I don't think he's got the morale. Matteo Cattaneo, he was second the other day behind Ben O'Connor. He's in 12th place, I think, at the moment. I'm not even sure if he'll be allowed into the break. You know, we'll have to see. I think some of the teams may not want to see him in there. He's 25s. Higuita, who was right up there, the last man with O'Connor the other day, he's at 25s. In the Bali, he's leaving they say he's going to leave the tour in a week's time or at the next rest day. He just hasn't showed anything to suggest he can win. Of course, if he's got his climbing legs, he's an incredible descender and could certainly do it. Nairo Quintana, yes, a big runner at 25-1. And here's my first selection, though. I'm going Michael Woods. And Woods is 25-1. Yeah, I'm saying a unit on him here. But I also took some 20-1 Woods at Sporting Bet. I got the 500 Rand free bet. I've plonked it on him as well. But I'll also take a unit on Woods here at 25-1. Woods will be going for the King of the Mountains jersey. But let's just go back to this profile quickly. You know, often the King of the Mountains guys are guilty of burning themselves out, sprinting for points along the way. But this out of category climb here of Mont Ventoux counts double points. It's going to be far more important to go over the top of this climb first than it will be to win any of the other climbs along the way. And I think we're going to see the guys perhaps riding a bit more intelligently, not to say they won't dispute the points, but I would say a guy like Woods is saying, let me cross Mont Ventoux here in the lead and I'll be in the polka dot jersey, no doubt about that. And I could also go on and win the stage. So that's going to be pretty interesting to see how the guys play that. But I'm going Michael Woods at 25 to 1 for my first bet. Then Chris Sturdy, who writes the Good for the Game previews with me. Let me find his fancy here. It is Dylan Tiens at 33 to 1. So I'm going half a unit. I'm following Chris Tiens, of course, has already won a stage in this Tour de France. I'm going half a unit on him there at 33 to 1. I do like it when we get to these stages where you get some really big prices. Then I'm going for a couple of really, really big ones, and I'm just going to skim down until I find him. And there he is, Richie Porte. Now, I don't know, maybe Porte will have to stay with Carapaz, but I've got a feeling Ineos are going to look to put a couple of guys in the break, and I wouldn't be surprised if they put Richie there. He didn't go well in the mountains over the weekend, but he doesn't like the cold weather, and this will probably suit him better. It's going to remind him a little bit more of Australia, although it's not that hot. I think we're talking about 28 degrees. But Richie Porte, if he gets into the break, there's no doubt he's got the ability to finish off. He would have to certainly go over the top alone because he's not the best descender, so I'd want him to have at least a minute's advantage over the top of the climb. But Porte at 66 to 1. And my other bet then is Emmanuel Buchmann. He's been disappointing so far in the Tour, but I do think that also, like Porte, he might be better suited to the conditions. And at 80 to 1, I'm willing to throw him in. If he gets in the break, he's certainly the kind of rider who can make it stick. It should be a great stage, everyone. This is really going to be something to watch. And really, whether the break wins or not yet, really is going to depend on Pogacar. Does he want to go for the stage? I wouldn't put it past him, but I do think that smart money says that Pogacar, in fact, will let the break go with his team. We'll still get a battle royale for the podium places at the end of the day. I wouldn't be surprised if Pogacar attacks the GC guys on the final climb, but it's going to be fascinating to see, for example, how Ben O'Connor goes. Richard Carapaz has obviously got to try and work his way up to that second spot. So really going to be a fascinating day's racing. You've got my bets there, and go Michael Woods, land the free bet for me, son, and let's get this Tour de France rocking as we head into the last couple of weeks. Thanks everyone for joining me. We'll look forward to the stage 12 preview and enjoy the racing.